Welcome back to Eyewitness News this morning. Here's the number to call, 436-1212, if you've got a legal question to be answered by Charley O'Hara. Charley joining us now in the studio. And we do have one caller on the line already with a question. So caller, if you're there, go ahead now with your question for Charley.
Hi, thank you for taking my call.
Absolutely, go ahead.
I would like to know what happens if you cannot find an attorney to represent you when you've had an extreme malpractice suit going where I have a malpractice against the hospital and I can't find an attorney to represent me.
Well, unfortunately, in criminal cases, we have guarantees. In other words, in criminal cases, they will appoint an attorney for you because you could lose your liberty. You could be incarcerated, put in jail, put in prison. So the Constitution guarantees you a right to an attorney. In a civil case where you're going to sue somebody or do something like that, you're not guaranteed a right to an attorney, so you have to be able to hire one. Now, the problem with civil cases, and especially medical malpractice cases, and even some other cases, most attorneys aren't going to charge you. They're going to get a percentage of what they win. And if they go through the case and it looks to them like it's going to be difficult to get very much money, not all the money, but difficult to get a lot of money, they may not want to handle that case because it won't be financially profitable. I suppose you can always pay an attorney by the hour to represent you in one of those cases, but usually that isn't very good. If the attorney doesn't think it's good enough they can get a percentage of it, they probably don't. It's probably not a good enough case that you're paying by the hour, you're going to make much money.
Now, Charley, I wanted to ask you a question. We've been talking about a story about a bond scam in Salina. A man says he bonded out after a DUI charge and then got a phone call saying, if you don't pay us more money, you're going to get rearrested. And then they got a couple more calls. The man's out $1,100. What should people know if they're bonding out of jail?
Well, bail bondsmen basically take a percentage of what the bond is for taking you out. In other words, if you have, say, we'll use a $10,000 bond, they would take $1,000 that you pay them to bond you out, and they put up the $10,000. So if you don't show up, they owe $10,000. And that's been the arrangement for a long, long time. Now, what happens in the competitive world we're in, sometimes bondsmen take less. They take 5%, and you make the other 5% in payments. So if you don't pay that, the bondsman actually can put you back in jail.
So that makes it pretty difficult to decipher if this is a scam or not, right?
Well, you'd have to go to the contract, as I always say in all these things. You have to look at a contract to know what's in there.
All right, thanks so much, Charley. Thanks for your call. We're back here in just a moment.